what I can get from this person. And so there's always that sense of entitlement, which we carry into relationship that, okay, I'm dating this person, is rich. In fact, for a guy, you see, the truth is an average guy in Nigeria is under pressure. You're having a lot of responsibility, a lot of people depending on you. So if you're going into a relationship as a guy, that's why for guys, marriage or relationship, they see it as responsibilities. But for women or ladies, marriage or relationship is like sense of fulfillment. That's why when you talk to a guy, oh, I want to get married, the guy's thinking of the costs. He has summarized everything in naira and kobo. But for the lady is looking like the glam.
Mrs.
I'm going to be Mrs. I'm going to have a baby. I'm going to have my own house. I'm going to have my own car. The lady is looking at the romantic part of the relationship, but the man is looking at the responsibility attached to it. That's why men don't like getting married very early, because they want to do everything to ensure that the basic things needed are put in place. So the issue is, as a person, if you are not fulfilled as a person, you might likely have that element of toxicity, abusive kind of nature. And then you must also understand that there are also external factors. It's more of internal and external factors. The internal could be some of the personal issues you're dealing with. The external could be the environment. Look at the economy in Nigeria. An average man, you're expected to do a lot of things. There are a lot of people depending on you. You have cousins, you have in-laws, you have families depending on you. And I was joking with someone, that was last week. I said, when I earn my salary, I don't think of myself first. I think of other people. I think because as a family man, you're not the priority. And that's what an average man faces every day. When you're in a country like Nigeria, when the economy is not smiling, you know, with what is happening in Nigeria, so you're expected to do more. So these are factors that make people feel uncomfortable in relationship, and as a result, they can't give their best.
Okay, let's bring it back to, you know, the victims now of toxic relationships and marriages. There's always the, you know, advocacy for speaking out and leaving. But more often it's easier said than done, especially when, you know, the abuse becomes extremely physical and aggressive or violent. So what measures or what advice would you know, give victims of toxic relationships or marriages in terms of leaving that toxicity, really?
I think the best thing to do is to seek the help of a counselor. You see, most of the time in the African society, we don't have the culture of speaking to counselors. We rather prefer to speak to our pastors or imam. And some pastors are life coaches or counselors, you know. But I think because it's easier, you know, and then because in this part of this world we spiritualize everything, that element of religion, we bring it into everything. So when you know you're going through an abusive relationship, the first thing to do is seek help. It's important you talk. In fact, you must also know that most of the time we talk about women being abused. Men are also being abused. You've seen situations where wives or women are also beating men or beating their husbands, and then they are being abused. So, but men don't talk. Because in our society, it looks childish when I say, hey, my wife, you know, we had a conflict yesterday, and my wife gave me a slap, you know. It's like it dents your image as a man, as your ego is being affected, so you won't want to talk about it. So men don't like seeking help or talking to counselors in this part of this world. But it's also something we must know, that when you are in trouble, you need the help of someone who is an expert to help. So I would advise someone who is going through that kind of, the first thing is seek help, talk to a counselor, then do what I call a personal analysis of the relationship you are in. Communicate with your partner. Have a proper communication, and if you discover the two of you can't solve the problem, it's better you seek help from a third party.
You know, sometimes people are so attached in their relationships that it will take a lot of strength and a lot of time to detach themselves. So in a situation where the lady is probably attached to the person who is abusing her, probably for some reasons that we may not be able to mention here, or vice versa, and they're trying to leave, and someone is saying, or she's thinking, how do I now start building up another relationship again? Or, you know, sometimes they also say that people may people disagree to agree. That's one of the statements people use to deceive themselves, because if I'm disagreeing with you all the time, it means there's going to be an agreement later on, which may not be true. So for someone like that, what would you say to that person? Attachment could be a really strong thing, you know.
You must also look at the possibility of you losing your life. You see, most of the time we always say, okay, you see, there are certain people who are not compatible, and there's nothing you can do. The signs will be there that, oh, this thing is going to, we defined a toxic relationship as one that threatens your wellness, your well-being. And when that is happening, you need to stay alive to be in a relationship or be in another relationship. So the first thing to do is you think about your safety first. Have a conversation with your guy. Hey, guy, I don't like this. This is who I am. This is the way I would love to be treated. Have a communication between both of you. In fact, the two of you should sit down, talk about it. And you discover that the communication is not helping. That's why you need help. And I also advise that you separate for a while. If you're dating a guy and you see those tendencies, maybe you should separate for a while so that both of you should find your way and personally deal with yourself, so that at least by the time you come back, maybe you will have overcome whatever is going through, and then it will have given you time to be able to manage the situation. But I don't believe you should stay in, because the signs will come while you're dating that whatever you experience in your marriage, the signs will always come at the early stage of your relationship. The signs are always there, but because we are clouded with emotions, we can't reason it out. And you believe because the guy is handsome, is tall, an average lady wants a guy who is handsome, who is tall, but you don't know that that guy who is handsome, who is tall, also has his own weaknesses.
Right.
Okay, Femi, just before we, wrap up this segment, quickly, you talked about separating for a while, to sort things out. That's for relationships. How about marriages as well? Will you also give that advice?
It depends on the stage. At the early stage where you think your life is not threatened, your peace of mind is your wellness, your mental state is not threatened, then I will not advise you separate. At that point, seek the help of a counselor. Most of the time, because there are conflicts, couple might not be able to sit together and talk about it, but that should be the genesis. In fact, it is fundamental for a couple to be able to talk together, talk it out. And if at that stage you can't talk to yourself or you can't talk with each other, then it's better you seek the help of a counselor. I understand the biblical injunction that doesn't support divorce or separation and all that, but you can seek the help of a counselor, maybe the help of your pastor, an elderly person, maybe in the family who can intervene, talk to both of you. You must understand that an average human being has someone they look up to, someone who they respect, someone who's like a mentor. If I'm dating someone and I have issue with you, I can rather approach your mentor to talk to you, or your boss, or someone I feel you respect. So we can allow the third party to come in, because it's a marriage now, you won't advise divorce. But for divorce to have even happened, it means you've exhausted all the options and nothing is working. So at the early stage, I won't advise that you separate. But at the point where you discover both of you can't resolve it and your life is threatened, then I think separation is the best. So that let's hope that people can intervene, family members can intervene, elders can intervene, and let's hope they can reason out. And maybe, you see, the more you grow, the better you are. Your maturity comes with time. There are certain things you can't tolerate. Now, maybe with time, the person will be able to change and tolerate it. So advice, they separate for a while. And then if they see that things can work together, if they are better for it, and they can eventually come together and make things work.
Thank you so much, Femi
Johnson.
I'm tempted to call you a relationship expert, but then you are Femi is our in-house analyst.
We'll meet him.
Well, you have.
By the virtue of what I do, I'm married, so I'm talking from experience.
You are a father figure. I know, founding fathers.
I'll add that to my CV.
Thank you so much. That was Femi Johnson, Ayo Daily. We'll take a short break now. When we come back, Sport Lover Sports is standing by to. Samson is here already to bring you up to speed with what's happening. I heard there's some victories and some losers in this world of sports, right? Okay,
definitely.
He's joining us very soon to bring you up to speed with what's happening in sports. So please stay with us.